Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is fear. Let's just dive in and look at fear in the face and see what we can discover. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons, lighting you up from the inside out. And as you exhale any negativity, any stress, any fatigue. And now let's just gently press your palms together and very softly, softly, softly rub your fingers against your palms and feel the deliciousness of that sensation and bring yourselves present right here, right now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's great to be here with you. Thank you all for joining us. It's a Monday morning and we're going to talk about fear because there's been, I read an article, let's see. Actually, it's not true. It wasn't an article. It was a video. I saw a video on mass psychosis, I think, and it was on an educational channel called something school. I'm going to see if I can find it to put the link in here for you. But it was a super, super powerful video that talked about how society gets controlled. And we know that fear is a tremendous, tremendous force for control, that in the face of fear, we will do things, behave in certain ways. Here we go. I found the link. This is really, if I could show this to you live. Oops, sorry. If I could show this to you live.
Online store quickly with price.
Sorry. If I could show it to you without violating the rules of Facebook, I would, because it's so powerful, and I cannot encourage you enough to go watch this thing. It is very, very, very impactful, and I think it's important for all of us to be aware of the dynamics that are at play in our culture right now, in terms of thought control kind of thing. A lot of the information from that video link that I posted comes from a book called The Rape of the Mind, which I just ordered. And it was written by a guy who, during the Second World War and thereafter, made a study. He's well renowned, and I can't remember his name at the moment. I apologize, but who had studied thought control and torture and brainwashing and the mechanics of it, and how a society can be transformed, like Germany was, be transformed through certain mental devices and social devices, and the the way that there's a certain mass insanity that's induced. Thank you. Good morning, Rosalind. Rosalind says, good morning, fearless core connectors. Thank you so much for that. Because we're talking about the mechanisms of control and how fear actually takes us over, and we lose the connection with our own inner guidance. Good morning, Kimberly. So good to have you here with us. And what happens when we fall into fear, we disconnect from our inner compass in so many ways. Kimberly says, good morning, sunshines. So good to have the sunshine here. And with that sunshine, with the bright light of awareness and presence, we get to look at fear and the power that is exerted over us, over society as well, when there is an epidemic of fear. Because one example in that video, if you didn't get the link, let me know, but I put a link to the video called, it's called, I think it's called Mass Psychosis. Let me just see. Yes, it is. How an entire population becomes mentally ill. And I'm here to say that one of the ways that occurs is through propagation of fear, because in response to fear, people will do things that they would never otherwise do. They'll say things, they'll align with things that they would never otherwise align with. And one of the things that they talk about in that video is the witch hysteria, where multitudes of women particularly were murdered because they were believed to be witches, and they were being blamed for all the ills of a society at the time. So there was this mass crazy that got propagated through populations of people, so to scapegoat other people in order to allay their fears. And I think what is actually happening when we fall into fear, I mean, you probably all heard the saying that if it's not love, it's fear, or that's where we live, is either in love or fear. And that may be a little extremely black and white, I'm not sure. But what I do know is that when we fall into fear, we lose our alignment with our own wisdom, our own knowing, our own presence. And we give away our ability to be discerning. You know, when we're in fear, what literally happens in fear is that our body chemicals, adrenaline and all kinds of other body chemicals, are at high pitch, and our vision literally narrows. And I think that we can see that that's the case, not only visually, but experientially, emotionally. And we become truly less able to evaluate the bigger picture. And as part of that, I believe that there is an energetic shift that happens that moves us away from trust of ourselves, of connection with ourselves, of presence. You know, we move away from presence into panic. And I think especially right now in the crazy times that we're experiencing, the the decisions that are being made in the face of fear are decisions that carry grave consequences for the future. And I think that we can look back, for instance, on 9/11 and recognize that in the face of fear, we gave up lots and lots of our civil liberties. And we have kind of a new normal, where we get x-rayed when we go through the airport to get on an airplane, and we submit to searches regularly, particularly in the airport, where there are all kinds of good morning, Star. I don't think I've seen your name here before. Welcome, welcome. So good to have you here. So we're talking about fear and the way that fear can be used to control people, and also where fear can be devolving people into kind of this mass psychosis. Good morning, Dennis. So good to have you all here. I'm just going to repost this link because I watched it. It's a video. I watched it over the weekend, and I found it very illuminating, and I want to share it with you. It's like a 20-minute watch, but I think that we get to be aware of mass psychology right now more than ever. Hopefully that we get the opportunity to wake up and look at what's happening socially, that that maybe we can redirect before it's too late, before we give away freedoms that we'll look back and say, oh my gosh, how did this ever happen? How did we get to this place? And right now is the time to look at where we're headed, because there's a lot of censorship happening right now of people that are quite expert in their fields. Good morning, Lisa. Great to have you here with us. Maggie says hello. She's busy preening herself, but here she is to say hi. You there? Good girl, Maggie. Good girl. Anyway, I think as people who, and I'm presuming that this is the case for you being part of this network, that as people who are committed to personal growth, transformation, evolution, this is a time where we can be put on alert to remain in our center, to remain present to our choice, to remain to be not just receiving the frenzied reports of information that we're receiving, that we get to choose to look deeper, that we choose to do our own research, that we not just absorb the hysteria that exists. And what one of the mechanisms, and I need to rewatch it and understand it even more deeply, that video that I posted the link for, but one of the mechanisms is to get people so frightened that they will pretty much grab at straws and create scapegoats and anything to allay that fear. And I think certainly when we talk about love and fear, love is an antidote to fear. But what does that look like? I think how do we move from fear is to reconnect with our inner compass, that we do have an inner compass, and we do have the capacity to be doing research and finding out other information. It's probably an advantage, even though it may seem counterintuitive, to be looking at the things we believe and then look at something that opposes that idea, and to just find out more information, to entertain what the other polarity might be entertaining, to try and gain a deeper understanding. I've told you guys before that my highest value is freedom. And given that that's the case, I find myself aligning with very unlikely people, or people who have very radically different viewpoints on so many things, like viewpoints that I consider reprehensible, and yet there's some viewpoints that I'm finding myself aligning with, and I'm looking at myself and saying, oh my gosh, I never ever would have imagined this would be the case. Good morning, Gina. So Kimberly says, I'm crying right now. It's been so hard this last 2 weeks. I've been experiencing the fear and fighting to stay in the peace of mind, and it's so powerful. I'm an overcomer and trying to find the balance and not be swallowed up by fear. So Kimberly, I can understand where you're coming from, for sure. There is I think that there is a deliberate effort to be building fear. I really, truly do. And I don't know the specifics of what you're fearful about. However, for instance, if it is this plague that we are subject to in some way, shape, or form right now, do more research. Do your own research. And I think that this is the case with anything that we're seeing right now. We get to be doing research and finding out, are there alternatives? Are there pathways to health, for instance, that are not being promoted? Are there ways that we can keep ourselves well and healthy? And what might those be? Are there protocols for taking care of ourselves and things like that? We can also be looking at the direction that things are going, and if that's a source of fear, then we get to look at ways that we might be able to take action. We can also be cultivating a deep connection and alignment with our higher knowing, our higher power, whether it's your higher self, whether it's God, whether it's nature, whatever it is for you that allows you to be present to wholeness, even in the face of all the crazy that we're experiencing. We get to each be our own beacon. We get to be light for ourselves and for each other. We get to put our attention, because what we put our attention on grows. What we put our attention on magnifies. So when we can put our attention on a place of peace and balance, on a place of wholeness, then we experience more of that wholeness. And I think it's important to, if we cannot hold a place of clarity in the face of this onslaught of programming that we're receiving, for instance, through the news. I mean, I'm not a big news person, but every time I've turned on the news or I've listened, there's all kinds of fear-provoking information, and we get to walk this crazy tightrope as humans, as people that are trying to navigate spirit in the physical world. Lisa says, I ground with the earth, center and protect every morning before I get up. I'm empathic, so I pick up a lot of heavy stuff. But if you ground, center, and protect, and set your intentions for the day. I think that's a brilliant suggestion, Lisa. Thank you. And so one way certainly is to ground with the earth. Go put your feet on the ground, literally on the grass, in the dirt. Put yourself in nature. Use your breath deeply, slowly into your belly. Breathe into your belly and use your breath. So Star says, on a spiritual level, because everything is energy, one can get quiet and pull in the energies of no fear. Well, I don't think we can ever pull in the energies of not something. So this isn't just a linguistic twist for all of us. And I get what you're saying, Star, but when we say no fear, first we have to understand what fear is, right? So if we can pull in the energies of peace, pull in the energies of love, and Star says, blessings, everyone, this too shall pass. 100%, 100% that this will pass, that things will change. And we get to be the vehicles of that change as well, by choosing what we will comply with and what we will not, where we choose to speak up, where we choose to make our voices heard, where we choose to move out of fear and worry. I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about certain medical choices, and that friend told me that they were worried for me. And the thing is that the energy of worry isn't good for anybody. What's worry? Worry is fear projected forward, right? And Kimberly says, replying to Star, that this too shall pass. That's what I keep telling myself, that this too shall pass. And it will, and we get to help it pass, and we get to use it as an opportunity to strengthen ourselves, to bolster our resolve, to maintain our alignment, to become unshakable in our alignment with self and principles, so that we don't comply, that we don't become complicit in something that would, outside of the face of the fear, be abhorrent to us. So we get to look at the bigger picture and make conscientious choices, and take appropriate action when calls to action arise. Lisa says, I also keep a gratitude journal. Also brilliant, Lisa. That's a brilliant thing to do. Every morning I write things I'm grateful for, blessed for, and what I'm thankful for. This reminds me who I am and keeps me aligned. That's so awesome. And I have periodically kept great gratitude journals as well. And one thing that I want to caution you against, which I fell into, was that I would just write, I'm grateful for, grateful for, grateful for. And what I realized was that it was really important, not just to be getting into the writing what I was grateful for, but in the process of writing that, to presence myself to that gratitude, because then you're bringing up all these wonderful chemicals in your body that are happy chemicals, and that shifts our frequency, which shifts what we attract, etc., etc. So it's a spiraling thing in a very powerful and wonderful way. And Star says, yes, tremendous opportunity. I agree. We get to rise. This is our call to rise. This is our call to be everything that we advocate, right? To be presencing ourselves to spirit in the face of extreme challenge, right? This is where we get to exercise our muscles of connection. So Kimberly says, Lisa Phillips, I need to get back to this, the gratitude journal. So no time like the present, right? Take the opportunity, even if it's 5 minutes, to presence yourself for the things that you're grateful for. Maggie's in deep agreement here. And journaling is a great free therapy tool, says Star. Absolutely, absolutely. And Lisa says, yes, that's the process. Journaling is very, very powerful. So what are we learning here about fear? How to presence ourselves? Presence yourself to the breath. Don't watch the news if that's what's freaking you out. Stop it. Just stop it. At least give yourself a moratorium. Journal. Do a gratitude journal. Presence yourself to the fact that you are okay right here, right now. Kimberly says, rise up, stay strong in the now. Stop projecting the what ifs. Beautifully said. So worry is fear projected forward, and we get to spare ourselves that. And that is it for today. We get to dissolve fear by presencing ourselves and connecting with gratitude and love and appreciation and nature. And with that, I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live each weekday morning here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page at 9 a.m. Eastern. And I invite you to check out all the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network. And Star says, exercise really helps. And Gina says, when I meditate, it takes you out of your busy mind. So meditation, exercise, finding things that give us joy, all of that is what can move us out of fear. So much love to you, so much gratitude, and find your strength in these times of fear, to know that we can dissolve it and we can go beyond it. And so much love to you. Until next time.